I remember the village of Duru very well. It was a peaceful place, with houses made of mud and thatched roofs, nestled between tall, whispering trees. The people there lived simple but content lives, growing food, weaving baskets, and trading goods at the market. It was a place where everyone knew everyone and secrets were hard to keep. But there was one mystery that no one could solve, a mystery about a girl named Obiora. Obiora wasn't like the other girls in the village. She had a beauty that was beyond compare, with dark, smooth skin that glowed under the sun and eyes that sparkled like the river at dawn. She was known for her gentle nature, always helping others, whether it was picking the ripest fruits from her farm or caring for the elders in the village. The men of the village would come to the market where she sold her produce, offering her gifts or declaring their love. But Obiora, though always kind, never seemed interested. She would smile softly and say, "Thank you, but I am not ready." This was the first thing that made her different. You see, most girls in the village would have married by the time they were Obiora's age, but not her. The villagers wondered why, but Obiora never shared much about herself. She kept her life a secret. She was always at the market early, setting up her stall with the best fruits and vegetables, and would leave before dusk. No one ever saw where she went after that. Some said she lived on the outskirts of the village, where the thick forest began, while others whispered that she was secretly the daughter of a powerful healer. But no one really knew. And maybe that was how Obiora liked it. Then came Ima, a young man from the neighboring village. Ima was tall, handsome, and friendly. One day he came to Duru to buy fresh produce for his family. It was there, in the market, that he first saw Obiora. I remember it like it was yesterday, how he stopped in his tracks when he saw her. "Obiora," he said, his voice filled with admiration, "you are the most beautiful woman I've ever seen." Obiora smiled, and though she was used to such compliments, there was something in Ima's gaze that made her pause. They talked about the weather, the market, and the village. Ima returned the next day and the next, just to see her. Slowly, they became friends, and it wasn't long before Ima's feelings for her deepened into love. He asked her one day, "Obiora, will you walk me home? It's late and I don't want you to go alone." Obiora hesitated. She had always kept her home a secret, but something about Ima made her trust him. She agreed, and as they walked together, the sky grew darker and the air colder. Suddenly, Ima felt a chill. A cold hand touched the back of his neck. He whipped around, but no one was there. His heart raced as he looked at Obiora, but she was calm, walking ahead as if nothing had happened. "Obiora," he said nervously, "I think I should go back. It's getting too dark." She turned to him and smiled, though it was a sad smile. "It's okay, Ima. You can go back if you're scared." He nodded quickly, feeling foolish for being so afraid. He turned and ran all the way home, his heart pounding. After that night, Ima never returned to the market. The villagers noticed, and they began to wonder why he had stopped coming. But no one dared ask, and Obiora, with her quiet grace, said nothing. The truth, however, was something no one could have imagined. Obiora wasn't just any village girl. She came from the forest, a place deeper than any of the villagers had dared to venture. She was the daughter of a family of spirits, beings who could take many forms, both animal and human. But Obiora was different from them all. She could look human all the time, while the others could not. Her parents, powerful and protective, had always told her, "Obiora, you must not marry a human. Our worlds are too different, and you will never find happiness." They had tried to keep her from becoming too attached to the people of the village. When Ima had come into her life, they had grown fearful. They knew she liked him, and they were determined to stop her from making that mistake. That cold hand Ima had felt? It was no trick of the mind. Her family had sent a spirit to touch him, to scare him away. Obiora was heartbroken. She didn't want to live under her family's rules anymore. She wanted to be free, to make her own choices, and maybe, just maybe, find love in the village that had admired her from afar. One evening, Obiora went deep into the forest to speak to her family. "I love you," she said, her voice shaking, "but I want to live my own life. I want to find happiness on my own, not trapped by your fears." Her parents, though saddened, understood, but they warned her one last time. "Be careful, Obiora. The world outside can be harsh." With a heavy heart, she left the forest, walking away from the only family she had ever known. She moved to Duru, hoping to find the peace and freedom she longed for, but there was a price to pay. Obiora's heart was light, but her mind was heavy. Her family's curse still lingered over her. "May you never find happiness with a human," her mother had whispered into the winds, and the curse was cast. The curse followed her to the village. She found herself alone, surrounded by people who loved her for her beauty and kindness, but who didn't know the truth of her past. And though she tried to move on, her heart would always carry the weight of her family's curse. One day, a merchant named Kalu arrived in Duru. He was a man of wealth, well-traveled and charming. When he saw Obiora at the market, he was struck by her beauty. "Are you Obiora, the girl everyone talks about?" he asked with a smile. Obiora, ever polite, smiled back. "Yes, that's me." Kalu was taken by her grace and kindness, and soon he started coming to the market every day. They became friends, and Kalu, despite the whispers about Obiora's past, fell in love with her. One day he told her, "I want to marry you, Obiora. Will you come with me and be my wife?" Obiora, though cautious, felt a spark of hope. Maybe this time, love would be different. She agreed to meet Kalu's family. But when she met his mother, things changed. Kalu's mother was kind at first, but when she heard about Obiora's past, she became cold. "I don't trust her," she said firmly. "There is a curse on her. She is not suitable for our family." Kalu, torn between his love for Obiora and his duty to his family, apologized. "I'm sorry, Obiora. My mother doesn't approve. I have to listen to her." Obiora's heart broke. She had hoped that maybe this time love would conquer all. But once again, she was rejected because of the curse. Desperate for a solution, Obiora returned to the shrine of Abiri, the spirit who had helped her once before. She knelt before the altar, her heart heavy. "Great Abiri," she prayed, "please lift this curse. Let me find peace and happiness." Abiri appeared, as soft and glowing as ever. "Obiora, you have endured much," the spirit said, "but I will lift the curse. However, there is one condition. You must never let anger take root in your heart. If you do, the curse will return stronger than before." Obiora, her heart filled with hope, agreed. "I promise I will stay calm and pure of heart." And with that, the curse was lifted. Obiora returned to the village, lighter than she had ever felt before. She continued to sell her goods, to greet the villagers with kindness, but now she carried within her the hope of a brighter future. One day, while sitting by the stream, Obiora met a kind man named Chidubem. He saw the sadness in her eyes and asked, "Are you okay?" They talked, and over time, Chidubem and Obiora became close. He didn't care about her past, didn't fear the curse. He just loved her for who she was. And one day he proposed, "Obiora, I want to be with you. Will you marry me?" For the first time, Obiora believed in love again. She accepted, and the villagers, seeing the change in her, rejoiced. The wedding was a celebration, not just of love, but of hope. Obiora's life was no longer a story of curse and rejection, but of new beginnings. And as she walked into her future with Chidubem, she finally felt for the first time that she was free.